It's the beginning of April. Quarter 2 has started, and those health goals are already less motivating. And that vision board has slid behind your desk. Janchi, my people, pick it up, dust it off, because in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm doing to refocus, how you can refocus, and how we can make sure that by December 2025, we are better versions of ourselves. Hi, I'm Keishonda-Teach. If you don't know me, I'm an educator. I'm a cultural dance ambassador. I am a certified Zumba instructor. I'm a choreographer. I have my own children's dance organization. I have been a Musa in Brazil, and I love all things carnival. But most importantly, I'm just like you, and I know how to get myself back to where I need to be, that point of optimum health. But I know that it's going to be better if we do it together. Come on in. In this video, I'm going to be sharing the 4 main reasons that I know that now is a good time for me to be refocusing, and then the 4 biggest action steps that I'm going to be taking to restart, refocus myself. Let's get into it. So, reason number 1 is that I am listening to my body very differently at this point. I'll be honest, I feel like my body is screaming. The inflammation that I'm experiencing is really different than I've ever experienced before. I'm feeling like inflammation in my joints. I'm feeling a tightness in my feet sometimes. Specifically in my ankles, and as someone who sprained their ankle last year, it's kind of scary to now feel like I've rehabbed that part of my foot, and now after fracturing my foot, now I'm having issues with my ankle. So I'm being very mindful of that. The other thing is that I'm feeling like really tight in my body. I've been a dancer for decades, and I'm used to being really flexible, and right now that just doesn't, it feels like an out-of-body experience almost, right? So I say this to say this. If you feel like your body is talking to you right now in a way that it never has, maybe you're feeling pain that you've never felt before. Maybe you just don't feel as comfortable when you're walking around. Little note, I know that sometimes things aren't going well when I feel my legs. And it sounds weird, but like sometimes I know that I need to get myself in gear when it feels like I can feel my legs. Maybe walking is starting to feel like it's painful or you're catching your breath. Our bodies talk to us. And right now my body is talking to me and it's screaming. And before it decides to go into panic mode and shut down, I'm definitely moving in a different direction. Number 2, dance. Dance is my joy. Dance is my connection to source. Dance is one of the only times where I feel like my mind is clear and I'm really in the moment. And we all need that. So if there's something for you that's just a motivator for you, whatever that thing is, hopefully there's some type of movement that just feels like, ugh, I could do this all day. If you're struggling within that movement, it's time to make some changes, right? To shift some things around. I know so many amazing dance teachers. I am a samba dancer, a Brazilian dancer really, because I don't just do samba. I do a lot of things Brazilian. And my teacher, my dance mom, Jill Costa, she's going to be 70 this year. And when I tell you she can teach a class or a workshop and then go do a million turns on the stage while she's singing, that's what I'm trying to do in life, right? But I'm only going to be able to do that if I take care of myself as well as she has, as well as all these other amazing dance teachers that I've had have taken care of themselves, right? So it says something that the models around you, like to model yourself after the people that have the things that you would like to do, especially movement-wise, right? Number 3, I am on the precipice of something. I don't know how you all feel. And again, you can call me squishy, you know, kooky, whatever. I just feel like I'm in a very interesting place in life, right? I did a career change a year or so ago, and now my job is ending because I was working through a short-term contract. And I just feel like I'm on the precipice of a potential, right? And so much of that is going to be unlocked by me getting my health in check. If for no other reason that it will just make me feel better, make me feel more focused. But in addition to that, I want my body back, but not just back, I want it better. I want my body back, but better, if that makes sense. Like, you know, I'm not accustomed to having to oh, I can't wear that because it's gonna fit too close, or that little crop top is really cute, but I don't know if I can wear it right now. I'm not accustomed to having to make those kind of shifts, and I don't like it. So I am definitely in a place where I'm thinking about that as too. Like, I love clothes, I love bright colors. It's one of the ways that I express myself. So I'm looking forward to getting that back. And then the last thing is community. When I was thinking about the reasons why and how I was going to refocus myself, community, like, I just realized that as I have taken a hit with my health, my community has shrunk, right? And it happens to a lot of us just because we're doing the day-to-day grind. Man, this refocus is really going to involve me expanding my community, expanding my dance community, expanding my health and wellness community, expanding my travel community, expanding my YouTube community, hopefully. So those are my 4 main reasons. I encourage you all to think about what are 3 to 4 big reasons that can be your drive for, like, this is why I know this is the time for me to refocus and get some things together for myself as far as my health. Next up, action steps. So hopefully you've made it to this part of the video. We're going to discuss the 4 action steps that I'm also going to encourage you to maybe jot down on a piece of paper and really think around. So action step number 1, find a movement motivator. Everybody has something that they do that they love. For me, it's dance. Maybe for you, it's capoeira or a type of martial art. Maybe you love walking. Maybe you love running. There's so many different examples, but that movement motivator is that thing that if you didn't have to worry about getting from A to B, you would always do this. And for me, that's dance. It's always going to be dance. I talked a little bit about dance before earlier in the video, but what is that movement motivator for you? It doesn't matter what it is. Sometimes that movement motivator is just, it's not for us to focus on losing weight. It can help us lose weight, right? Or help us get healthier. But sometimes it's just that thing that will get us to get up and move, and we don't have to think about anything else, but we get to feel the endorphins, the rush, the joy of knowing that we moved, however we did, right? Number 2, I'm going to encourage you to find a challenge. So for me, it's consistency in the gym. So my challenge, my push is going to make sure that I'm getting to the gym to lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. Here's the thing. I love lifting weights, but life often gets in the way of that. I find that I will find a way to dance when I'm not finding a way in my schedule to go to the gym. So this challenge, this consistency challenge, it could be anything. Maybe for you, it's not the gym. Maybe for you, it's making sure you drink a certain amount of water every day. Maybe for you, it's making sure that you're eating consistently a certain time of day. Maybe it's even just making sure you're cooking more meals than you're having out, right? But whatever it is, make it a challenge, because part of this is convincing ourselves that we can do hard things for ourselves and we can make a way when it feels like there's no way, right? So think about that for a little bit and then write down, what is your challenge, your consistency challenge? Number 3, I'm going to encourage you to measure your progress. It does not have to be hard, right? For me, I am going to go back to tracking my food and checking in with my trainer and my accountability partner. Once a month, I'll also be doing like measurements of my body, but that's for another video. I'll talk about that. But part of this is for accountability. You have no idea how great you're doing if you can't measure it. You also can't celebrate yourself if you don't know what you've done that is celebratory, right? A lot of times we fall off the wagon because we don't know that we're doing a good job. So I'm going to encourage you to find some way to measure your progress, even if it's just something simple. You make tally marks every time you drink a glass of water. You send a text to a friend every time you go out for a walk, because maybe you all are accountability partners. But again, find some way to measure your progress. I have a chart that I've created that I'll share in a later video. But for right now, just again, we're making one step in the direction of progress, right? And then number 4, what do you need to put in check first? We all have a bunch of things that we probably need to stop doing, right? But what do you need to put in check first? For me, it's going to be an F for my feelings. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like drinking all this water. I don't feel like driving all the way to dance class. No one cares about your feelings. Sometimes you just gotta... Here's the thing, right? There have been times where I have talked myself out of things knowing that I would feel better on the other side. For example, because of my schedule, sometimes I will have to work from my car. That's true of a lot of people, right? So there have been times where, okay, I have to work from my car. I have dance class later, or I'm supposed to go to the gym later. I'm going to just go drive to that side of the city and work. I may be sitting in my car for 2 or 3 hours. And then what happens is that script starts playing. And then it's like, oh man, you're really tired, Keishonda. You should go home, right? You've been sitting here all these hours. You don't have time for class right now. You can go to the next class. Start over next week. And then I've convinced myself to drive away from class. And of course, on the drive home, I'm eating something that I shouldn't, right? Or that's not as great of a decision. Let's say it that way. Here's the thing. I've never regretted a workout. I've never regretted a dance class. I've never regretted an opportunity to move. I always feel better after. Always. A lot of times we convince ourselves that in the moment we should shift, right? And a lot of times it's because of those feelings. We haven't put our feelings in check. We're not really in touch with what's really going on internally. So I'm encouraging myself to not only check in with my feelings, but not to let them control what I'm doing, not to hold in emotions, and especially, along with feelings, not to eat my emotions. The reality is, maybe this isn't a problem for you. You can't eat your way to happiness, and you can't eat your way through boredom, right? I personally have had experiences where some days I was just so like not feeling well or distracted. I looked up and I had traveled to this part of the city for something sweet. And then I'm over here because I wanted something this side. And then I'm over here because I wanted this main course. And I put all of this together and it was It was meh. It didn't do what I had built up in my brain that I thought it was going to do, right? And it's never going to do that. The buildup is never as good as we think it's going to be, especially when it comes to potentially eating our emotions, right? So I'm going to encourage you, again, to find that thing that you need to put in check first. For me, it's my feelings. Maybe it's for you, it's prioritizing yourself. Maybe it's your schedule. Maybe it's boundaries. More than likely, it's going to be something that might not be immediately tangible. You're going to have to work to figure out what boundaries you need to put around it. But I guarantee you, again, if you can look down the road 4 weeks from now and realize that you started journaling every time you felt a certain way before you made a decision, it's going to make you more mindful of everything else. So let's recap those 4 action steps. The first is to find your movement motivator. What is that thing that no matter what, it's going to encourage you to move because you just love doing it? Number 2, what's going to be your consistency challenge? What is that thing you're going to focus on and say, I'm going to do this 2, 3, 4 times a week, and I'm going to make sure if I do nothing else, I'm going to stick to it. Number 3, how are you going to measure your progress? Are you going to track your food? Are you going to do something with a chart and a tally mark? Are you going to send a text to someone every time you do something? How are you going to hold yourself accountable? And the last thing is identify what you need to put in check first. I gave the example of, for me, it's going to be an F for feelings, but for you, it might be your schedule. It might be putting yourself first. It might be creating boundaries. What is that thing that you're going to do first? I encourage you to write all of that down someplace so that you have a visual that you're looking at as you're planning out your weeks, planning out your workouts, planning out your meals, so that you'll always have it so that you can look at it. It is December 2025. And your girl Keishonda has recorded a video, and she is looking like milk. She is thinner, she's toned, her skin is glowing. She's talking to you about her next Brazil trip and the school she's dancing with. Her business is flowing. She is leading dance classes that hopefully you all love. And just overall, she has built this community that she loves, right? That is the vision that I have for myself for 2025 in December. Where do you want to be? What does taking these steps towards progress, what is that going to mean for you? Have that vision in your head. Dream about what it could be, what you could look like, where you're trying to go, where you're trying to be, what are your goals, right? In a very visual, I feel it, I hear it, I taste it, I sense it type of way, right? But the other thing I want to caution you about is not falling into common mistakes. Giving up. Okay, this week you did 3 times at the gym instead of 4 times. Are we going to give up? Or next week, are we going to figure out why we missed that 1 time at the gym? Not celebrating your wins. That's the other reason I want you all tracking your progress. Because how are you going to know that you lost a ½ an inch? Or this week you met all of your water goals? Or you did 200 minutes of cardio when you've only been doing 100 minutes of cardio every week, if you don't track it. And then when you track it, celebrate it. I don't care how small it is. I don't care if it's a ½ an inch, a ½ a pound, 10 ounces more of water. Celebrate it because you did it, right? And then the last thing is trying to do this thing alone. There's so many things in the world that we have to do by ourselves, or we just have to struggle on through them. This is not one of them. This is one of the reasons I'm excited about the potential for this community. So in saying that, if any of this sounds like you, I would love for you to become a part of this growing community. I'll be here sharing my fitness and wellness journey, along with my dance travels, samba, my performances, costumes, more about carnival around the world, and dance. I'll also be loading up classes that I have with dance classes, Zumba classes, movement, stretch, because I want us doing all of this together so that we can get well and feel great together, right? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to join the community for more videos and to jumpstart our journey together with these online dance classes and offerings and just checking in with each other. Bye.